Perfect. So let me introduce you to Ashley Paul. She is a,
Hello.
sorry?
I just said hello.
Yeah, okay. She is a singer, songwriter, and performer. She is an international Billboard artist. She recently performed at the Music Lounge at the Sundance Film Festival. Her hit song, co-written by Richie Neville, called Bingo Baby, has hit 1.7 million streams. She has been featured in Rolling Stone magazine, and LA Weekly wrote that Ashley Phillips is the #1 artist to watch. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you may not know about her is that she orders buttercream cupcakes in the middle of the night. And the topic is how you have to take hold of your crafts and turn it into a business. Ashley, thank you so much for coming and visiting with us today. I know you've just come off tour, and we're
Thank you
so
very
grateful
much.
to hear some of your wise words, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a platform to share some of my stories and crazy stories. And yeah, it's just, turning music as a singer into a business is just something that kind of evolved. I was always in the music industry my entire life since I was a little girl. I had my first song on the Billboard charts when I was 16.
Wow.
Um, and called When Boys Cry. And I feel like it kind of happened about 6 or 7 years ago when I realized that I wanted to keep going, but I needed to empower myself independently in order to do that. And I was very fortunate at the time. I'd always been a piano player and a poetry writer, but I met somebody who encouraged me to put those things together
Mhm.
and write my own music. And
Mm.
so by doing that, that was the first step of becoming, my own boss. Because now I wasn't just waiting for a producer. And I'm sure you can analogize this to really anything in business, I would think, starting with the product being your own, right?
Yeah.
So once I started doing that, I mean, it just all kind of flew because then I starting in, I guess, 2021, I started having top 10 hits all over the world. And I just kept writing and having hits and writing. And then I was like, well, every 6 months I would check in with myself and say, well, I need to do more. Now I need to take hold of my own social media. I need to learn how to do that. Now I need to know how to do some kind of public relations. I need to help myself find someone to help me with that. I mean, it kind of evolved. And with every step, I think I felt more empowered. I felt like I was moving forward. And there's just nothing to explain how you feel when it's your own, as opposed to, waiting around for Mr. Producer to knock on your door and say, Ashley, would you like to sing my song? Which is lovely. And that's how I got started. But it wasn't enough, for me,
Mhm.
it wasn't enough. And I wanted, and so every 6 months I check in, or every couple of months I check in and say, what can I add? So I went from adding public relations to my own music, to public relations, to my own social media. And recently, the most exciting thing for me is I just started to get my first songs into film, which is another bucket for my business, right? So that for me, like, I mean, believe me, being on these massive stages, I've played in the past 5 years the Pepsi Arena, Barrowlands Ballroom in Glasgow, the Music Lodge recently, which was such an honor because some of the greats in the U.S. music industry have played there. However, I need to expand, I think, even more. I'm not giving one up for the other. And so I think that's the key is multitasking and knowing you don't have to give up one direction for another. Am I talking in circles?
No, this is great. This is
Okay.
great. This is your story and your journey. This is
Okay.
awesome.
So now I've added that. So now I've sort of I'm I can't tell it. I'm sorry, I can't tell all the nuances yet, but I will have my first song in a feature film probably by the end of the summer.
Ooh, let's do some love on that, some
Thank
hearts and
you.
some
Thank
love and
you.
some jazz hands. Congratulations, sister.
Thank you. It's called the name of the song is called Hold On to Your Heart. I just can't say the name of the film. However, for me, this is like the beginning of another part of my business, right? So I'm going to be opening for people, doing shows, writing new songs, continuing to get out there, using my music to help other people. And now I'm going to be trying to get my songs into films, or it can be commercials, TV shows, it could be anything. It's just that the film was the first thing that I had the opportunity open to for me. So I think, I don't know if it's manifesting that the door's open, or the fact that you just keep going and you keep working. And I work every day, all the time. I wake up to work. I work with people in the UK. I work with people in the US. So I work with people in Miami. I'm in LA. They're in UK. I co-write, this recent song that I wrote with Denise Pearson, who's a big star in the UK from Five Star, called Finding Rhythm. You can stream it right now, Finding Rhythm.
All right, Finding
Um,
Rhythm. Everyone write that down.
Ashley Paul. And that song was written, she was in the UK, I was in LA, someone was in Miami, and we just all made it happen, you know? And so, these are just things that are part of my day. And I don't know what I'm saying anymore, except that I'm
No, no,
just,
no. Let me ask you a few
yeah,
things because
please.
not everybody knows the world of what it's like to be on tour and some of the stuff that gets a little daunting. And you talk about doing your business every day, which I think from an entrepreneurial standpoint, and honestly, artists are entrepreneurs too. It's that love inside, right? It's that love inside. It's that creative. It's being creative every day. So what
Can I
is it
inter
like?
can I
Yeah,
interject really quick?
yeah, of course.
It is very hard as a creative to accept the fact that you have to also be a business owner. So it's a reality, and the transformation was, it evolved, but it's not sort of like anything I've ever done before. You know, I
Mhm.
never I never owned a business. I never had a lemonade stand. I was on stage as a kid, and my parents chaperoned me here and there and did everything for me. My mom was my manager. So for me, this was a very growing experience. That's all I have. I just want to interject. So yes, on tour. Okay. On tour is really hard when you're an independent artist, because you don't have, it's not like you're on a bus like
Mm.
Taylor Dane or Taylor Swift. It's very different. You have a couple of amazing shows, a couple of shows that are kind of like in the back of a room.
Hmm.
So and then you're given money, you're paid, but then you have to take care of your own arrangements, sometimes. And like some weeks are like you're a star, and some weeks you're not. And you just have to be resilient, which I am, because for me, I don't care where I am, I'm going to get on that stage the next day. I don't care what happened the night before. If I have a headache, if I got sick, if I didn't, if I got locked out of my hotel room, which I'll tell you the story in a second, I will get on the stage the next day. So, okay, so there's a show, Calderdale Pride, about 150,000 people in what I would call a Romanesque theater, where it's opened and there are levels, and people are standing upstairs, and you can see, it was an incredible show. So the night before, Billy Joel, wonderful, amazing artist, right? Icon.
Hmm.
He came to the area, and he had never performed there before. And all the hotel rooms were being sold out because he had never come. And so my hotel room that I was staying in, they knocked on my door and they said to me, "I'm sorry, but we sold your room."
Gosh.
And I'm like, "What do you mean you sold my room?" "Well, we got a lot more money for it, so you need to leave." And I just said, "But I have a reservation here." And I showed her, right? And she
Yeah.
said, "I'm sorry, the manager wants the higher bidder for the night." And I had that room, by the way, 2 nights from that. So it wasn't like they were never going to see me again, right? So it was a pretty crazy night. And I called around. I couldn't find anybody because, when you're also another thing is when you're doing a summer tour, your booker, um, my booker in the UK at the time had like 1,000 artists. So we had 1,000 people calling him. And so, but I will tell you, every room for 2 hours from where I was sold out. Every room. Like I couldn't get a room anywhere. And I was like, I mean, unless I was going to pay £3,000 for a suite. So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, it doesn't matter. I have a show tomorrow. So I got to figure it out. It doesn't matter. There's no complaining. There's no calling. This is what you want in your life. You will make it happen. Right? No excuses. I went to 3 pubs. I had 3 meals until it was like 11 o'clock at night. Then I was like, where should I go now? So I went to McDonald's because they're open 24 hours even in the UK. And I ordered a fish sandwich and I sat there and I put my head down and I took a nap with my suitcase because I had like one big suitcase with my clothes and one big suitcase. Remember, I had to take everything out of the room. And when you're on tour, you travel light, right? So, I mean, I guess I could have called somebody in the States that I used to be married to. But this is where the strong, independent Ashley comes in. I would not. I needed to handle this myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it was. I was not going to go down that road. Because as we all know in relationships, it's always a Pandora's box when you call somebody that you're not in the relationship with anymore. So, and he's a wonderful person, but everybody has their issues. Obviously, we're not together anymore. So, okay. So I think what happened was I put my head down. I slept like this on the McDonald's. And then it was like 5 in the morning and I went to the show. I went,
Wow.
I got on the train and I went to the town and I changed. They had like an area early for dressing. And I sat down and I laughed and I hugged people that I hadn't seen. And honestly, I was so happy and so grateful to have the show. I didn't care. And that is the kind of dedication and passion that I wish for everyone on their journey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be like something that would explain how dedicated I am. And I never complain about it because I'm like, it happened, right? What are you
Oh my
going to
goodness.
do?
No, that's incredible. It's not only resilience, it's resourceful. I can hear women in the room going, I wouldn't be leaving. And I mean I can hear the roar of the internal conversations that were going on, women that are listening to. And it's like where you pull it from, right? Where
Right.
you pull it from sometimes and you pull it off and ace it. And I mean, that's incredible. It's an interesting story for sure. I
I
mean,
mean,
stories on the road, stories of entrepreneurship, stories of like the stretch. I call it the stretch. I was talking about that yesterday too. I'm like, I think I'm beyond calling it a journey and I'm calling it the stretch to significance, right?
mm,
And that is the good stuff and that is the interesting stuff, and it all wraps up into guess what? Now you have a movie. Well, you've got a song and a movie and all those things. I think all those experiences lend into the next experience.
right.
And
And I think I really do feel that, when if someone would have told me in 2020 that it would have just grown and grown and grown, I wouldn't have imagined, to be honest with you, because
mhm,
I just was like, okay, I just focus on the craft, which is making the good music. I mean, at the end of the day, that is the most important thing, is that, you focus on the work. The
yeah,
other stuff it's just, you just have to do it if you want to create a legacy or a
mhm,
business.
mhm,
But at the end of the day, it's your craft. I mean, like when I meet other women, this is a good example. A couple women I recently met who were in some tough situations, and I wanted to help one of them. So I gave her, and she was an artist. I gave her the job of doing my album cover. for my last
Mhm.
single. And I said, "You're a beautiful artist. Maybe this will help you start your business. That you have somebody who's already in the business and you did this great cover art." And it was beautiful. And now she's all over the place with it. I mean, meaning her art is everywhere. But I don't really see her going to the next step, not to be critical,
Mhm.
but it's like, I did my part. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I tried to help, I offered somebody recently, did they want to help me style for a very low cost and then use that they were helping someone style who was kind of on the road. Like I always try
Mhm.
to help people because I feel like I've had doors open for me. And I mean, I think it's honestly, I think it's from God. That's how I feel. I mean, and my mom who's with him. But I feel like I always want to help somebody else. Like, and that's my way, like in kind of a real intimate way. If I meet someone and I think they need help, I want to give them something that I can't do and they can help me with it. You know what I'm saying? And if it will help them,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. I mean, we just finished talking about that, how when we help one person, we help them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's that person and all the people that it's going to help, either generationally or family or friends, or, people say pay it forward. I say power forward,
I would like that power
power
forward.
forward,
Right.
power
I like
forward.
that. I like
Yeah,
power forward
I like
because
it too.
I really feel like, I'm a humanist, but I support women
Mm-hmm.
because I know that as women, as brilliant and as entrepreneurial as so many of us are, there's also this, I don't know what it is, this generational issue around when it's time to be a mom and, not work or be married. There's all those issues that are, always coming. So, for example, like my parents, they were so wonderful and they supported me and my career was everything. But then at some point they're like, "Well, you're going to get married, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Well, where did that come from?" You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
how am I going to bring another person into this? It's like, and clearly it never worked, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
the wrong people. But but that was where she came from. Like my mom was an actress and then a social worker. So she worked and then she was also my manager. But she also believed that you should also have a home and a family and all those things. And to be honest, those are not things I ever thought of. Like I didn't even want to babysit when I was a kid. Like I didn't want to babysit. I didn't even want to babysit. I didn't even have dolls. When I was a girl, I had microphone. I never had a doll. I don't know what that says about me. But I mean, but I do have a beautiful son and we have a very good relationship. So I'm very blessed. I have one son and I'm very blessed. So, and he would not want me to talk about him. So that's going to be it.
Oh, my son had to get over that, but I know what you mean. Ashley, as we start to wrap up here a little bit,
Yes.
it is International Women's Day, and we're celebrating that incredible day and this incredible weekend. Um, Tell us, you've shared with us that you have been in the music industry for a few days back to back. What are the changes that you've seen? I mean, we've obviously heard how you just have built your own career, like whether it was coming to you, you were going to it. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm sure the women here can relate very much to that incredible sense of gumption. But has the industry changed? What's it been like on the inside?
I mean, it's so much more open now because
Mm,
of social media.
mm,
And I think the internet especially for an independent artist gives you, much more of a reach. You look at me.
yeah.
People want to know what label I'm on. I'm like, I'm on Ashley. That's my label. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you really? I'm like, yeah. I mean, like, I'm tired sometimes. but
Yeah.
but the thing is, we can do it all now.
Hmm.
Years ago, it was really hard to for an artist to do it all.
Hmm.
The doors were closed. It was a club. I don't want to say a boys club and seem like I'm anti-boy because I have had some beautiful, supportive men in my music sphere who have all been kind and supportive and respectful. So I want to throw that out there. Um, you know, but it's definitely, this is the time. If you ever wanted to be an artist, now is your time.
Hmm. Awesome. Well, look, it has been a real pleasure to spend some time with you. I want to just congratulate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you down. I will be, the crew of us are going to be heading down to Oscars week, and we hope to meet again in person. Thank you so much for sharing with
Thank
us
you.
an insider view and inspiration. Is there anything that you want to share before we say goodbye, my friend?
Just thank you for having me. And I think my message is like with my music, what I'm always saying, which is never give up
Hmm.
because there's always a guiding light out there. The next day is always going to be better. No matter what you went to sleep with, the next day is always going to be better.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you. Let's do some love and love and love and love and love and hearts and sparkles and all of that. That was I love for me, gumption. I just heard gumption all through that. And I honestly, I could not stop laughing inside when you said that you didn't have dolls, you had microphones. I mean, was that just not a get like that? That was just a telltale.